It's arcade conversion time yet again. We're going to have a peek at Afterburner on the Spectrum, published by Activision back in 1988. And last week I had a look at the SD version, which honestly was pretty poo-poo, I must say. And I have heard good things about the Spectrum version, and also seen quite a few reviews that seem to rate it higher than the SD version. Which doesn't really say much, I suppose, but still. And again in the ad we have these shake lines that reassures the buyer that this is going to be every bit as shaky as the sit-down arcade cab version. Absolutely for sure. And I'm not sure if this version is going to quake my office chair any more than the SD version, but I'm hoping it will. I think I'm going to loosen these screws to the chair. So if you hear a crash, it's not a sample sound effect, it's probably just me falling off the chair and dying. And yes, this game is of course based on the Sega arcade game released in 1987, developed by their AM2 team, led by Yu Suzuki. And this game was of course a huge success in the arcades back in the day due to the sit-down cab that would shake you around. And of course the amazing super scaling graphics, 60 Hz of glorious sprite scaling. And I think this particular version of the arcade hardware could handle up to 256 sprites at the same time, rotate and scale it. I'm not entirely sure though, it's just a number that pops up. But it was certainly enough to make you go wow and start drooling back in the day. But if you just look at the gameplay of the arcade version, it's a bit shallow. There's not too much to do. And it's often a bit difficult to figure out what is going on and what just blew you up for the 28th time. But I guess who cared back in the day when the game looked like this and you were sitting in a shaking cabinet, and yeah. And what you are watching right now is actually Afterburner 2, which is an improved version. I did play the first one as well in MAME, and it's honestly a little bit more confusing. It's not quite clear what's going on, and it certainly improved gameplay in the second one. It's still not perfect, but you know, I would definitely have been all over this if I'd encountered it in an arcade back in the day, which I sadly didn't. But enough said, let's dive into the 48K Spectrum version, shall we? And pretty nice looking loading screen for the Spectrum at least. And this is a cracked version, and we get a cheat option here, so why not use it? And this is a multi-load thing, and yeah, we get spinning balls. It doesn't say Afterburner 2, or the Roman numeral for 2, it's just a bunch of balls spinning around. Strange. And what was also a bit strange was that the first tap file that I found of this one, called Afterburner, turned out to be some sort of Eastern European sexy demo, involving illustrations of a couple doing the horizontal dance. Given the Spectrum's graphical capabilities, it wasn't that exciting, but yeah, I was a little bit confused and somewhat surprised. But this is, I hope, the real Afterburner conversion. And I don't want to know why that demo was called Afterburner. Yeah, not really. And let's go Kempston and start blasting things. And we can pick sound effects and music. It doesn't really matter what we pick, because this is the 48K version. So yeah, there's not going to be any sound at all. But we do get a pause function, so that is nice. And the carrier looks very nice. And it says 128 on the... that thingy there to the right, where you call it the control tower. So that's a nice little touch, I guess. And yeah, this certainly runs smoother already than the SD version, which honestly was absolute garbage. And we can do the loop even if we just, I think, press go extreme left or right and then double tap, I think, yeah. Then we can just do the roll. Sorry, not the loop. Obviously. Oh, I think something hit me. It's a little bit confusing to just play without any sound whatsoever, but yeah, it's fine. And I don't think the 128K version contains any samples. It's just like music. Come on, do the loopy thing, you silly... What's this jet fighter called? I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. I'm going to crash it anyway. So we can, of course... Oh, and new colors. And we got balls. Balls on the ground. Great. I think they're bushes, actually, but they look like balls. So, yeah, that's mildly confusing as well. The ground is very minimalistic. Can I crash into them? No, I can't. That's nice. Let's go back up and see if we can maybe use our missiles. There's absolutely no, audio feedback. Again, it feels strange. But frame rate is fine and dandy. Very much more impressive than the SD version. But then again, so is a brick tied to a boat anchor at the bottom of the harbour, right? So, yeah. But it's nice and smooth, and the scaling is, I mean, it's not amazing, but they've slowed things down a bit, at least on the enemy side of things. So, But I'm still having problems, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Ah, lovely. We get the to refuel, and also, weirdly enough, we get additional ammo there, or missiles rather. Stop tape? Yeah, okay, I didn't even start it, but hey. Okay, this looks a little bit better. We now have black balls and a black sky. It's like Night Driver. Let's see if we can do a barrel roll, right? Yeah. The only thing I can hear is the clickety-clack of my joystick. That is a little bit peculiar. And something hit me again. Yeah, I can never see what really hits me. But, I was thinking of playing this on an emulator to get the music on the 128K version, which I think was an original release back in the day. So it's not like a remake or something like that, a modernized version of the game. But the music wasn't that amazing, and there weren't really any amazing sound effects as I understand it, so I just decided to go with the genuine 48K experience, the experience I would have suffered back in the day, because I only had a 48K Spectrum. So the big question is, of course, is this fun? Gameplay feels pretty uninteresting and weak and shallow. But then again, the arcade version isn't amazing in that aspect either. Is it more fun than the SD version? Yeah, but so is staring at a wall for 2 hours. And would I have enjoyed this back in the day? Well, if I'd heard of Afterburner, which I believe I had, I would probably have been somewhat impressed by this on my humble Spectrum, but I think I would have pretty quickly returned to play Space Harrier instead, because a similar type of game that is handled much, much better is a lot more fun than this, because this feels a little bit weak, to be honest. And I don't think I would have been terribly impressed. And why? How are they getting me? Are they sending me missiles as a gift or something? Yeah, it's really hard getting these little shits because I haven't got any more missiles, and shooting at them obviously doesn't work very well, so let's just do some barrel rolls because that's probably the most fun you can have. I realize I sound a bit negative, and it certainly is better than the SD version, but yeah, what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this? Oh, we actually do get to land. That is nice. Oh, we get eyes servicing the plane. That's cute. And we even get the hang on dude for a little bit. I think that was what it was, the motorcycle guy. That's nice. And we still have balls on the ground. Not anymore. We are now in the Arctic. And I just got fed a big fat missile. Bit of a shame also that you never really get to see the enemies that much. They always kind of show up in front of you, and then you just see them at a distance, and then they send a missile your way, and it's all over. Only time I get to see them is when I get shot down. Oh man. But yeah, the frame rate is definitely solid. And sadly enough, I'm not sitting in my office chair. I'm sitting in my couch, so I couldn't loosen any screws. So I feel rather secure here, and there's not too much shaking going on, so I'm not terribly immersed. Is that a boss? I think so. Can you please lock on? How do I lock onto this fella? I don't know. Oh, it's all so confusing, this. And he's just staying out of reach, which is quite annoying. Where did you go? Who cares? Let's just keep doing this for a bit. Was that a stealth fighter? Someone in the comments section said on the SD version that you could just basically leave the joystick be and you could finish several of the stages like that. Let's try this in the Spectrum version. I'm guessing that's not going to be quite as easy here. Or maybe it is. Okay, we got some new balls loaded. Amazing. They look even rounder. And oh, we actually have stuff now. We've got... Oh, we're in a forest. We're murdering campers. This was actually a bit better, I must say. A little bit more entertaining. Maybe that's a bit of a statistical thing to say, but yes, oh dear. Oh, that was a really nice explosion, that. I'm pressing right as much as I can and I still get blown up. Well, such is life as a fighter pilot on the Spectrum. Ugh. How am I supposed to avoid these things? Are they mountains or big fat trees? Don't know, don't care. And I can't get out of the way. Please, game. Please. This is pretty wonky. But again, at least it's something else that looks much nicer than the bush balls. More loading. Thank God for the div MMC. Let's blow up some balls. Oh, we can't. That's a shame. And there's nothing here. Oh, we've got a missile on our tail. Could you please roll around a bit? Oh, this is just mayhem. I have no idea what happens here. What is going on? Why am I here? And why am I doing barrel rolls all the time? And why am I being shot down all the time? You know, I think I've had enough. Let's just head over to the review section and see what some other people thought of this, shall we? Crash awarded the game an overall of 86% and Phil wrote, despite the conversion's exhilarating speed, Afterburner remains of dubious lasting value. The gameplay is just too repetitive, constantly dodging around the screen, firing and trying to avoid occasionally indistinct missiles. But even so, to begin with, Afterburner really does set your pulse racing. And the other reviewer wrote, despite the speed of the graphics and the urge to see the next stage, it's really only a dodge left, right and fire game. Lacking the speed and definition of the arcade original, the underlying simplicity of the gameplay is sadly revealed. Nevertheless, fans of the original will, like me, still love it. Yeah, I feel maybe they kind of overrated it a little bit. They point out the problems and yet they awarded close to 90%, so yeah. I don't know, I'm a bit skeptical about that. Yours Sinclair was a bit more reasonable and gave it 7 out of 10, and they summed it up quite well. A technically brilliant conversion that can't quite make up for the original's shallowness. And they also wrote, buy it for the speed, graphics, free stickers and posters if you must, but be aware that they're covering up a serious lack of content. And yeah, that's pretty much spot on. But hey, at least it's better than the SD version because that was just an incomprehensible slideshow. And with that, I'm just going to say thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, hope to catch you next time. Cheers!